The Cold War musical Chess is back on Broadway with a brand new rewrite and all the catchy songs. Plus, it's another one loaded with star power. Leah Michele, Aaron Tveit, and Nicholas Christopher. Here's Beth Stevens with another edition of Building Broadway.
Tell me what drew you to Chess and made you want to take on this revival?
I was listening to Spotify Daily Mix, perhaps number 3. You know, it was all like Les Mis and Jesus Christ Superstar and Hamilton, Spring Awakening, and Chess. And every time a Chess song came on, I just would get this sort of dopamine kick of like, Chess is so cool. And then I started thinking, what's the deal with Chess? I know it doesn't work. I don't really know why, because I've actually never seen a production of it, because very few people have. So I looked online, and there was the Idina Menzel, Josh Groban Chess in concert at Royal Albert Hall. And so I watched it. And as I was watching it, I started thinking, my rewrite brain started kind of clicking in. And I had this very delusional thought, which was, maybe I could fix this. And one of my main concepts was, I wanted to infuse Cold War, true life Cold War plot lines into the show. So that you had the love story, you had the chess matches, and then you had a much richer Cold War story that's flicked at in the lyrics, but it's not fully realized. And I felt that by doing that, it would give it sort of a much grander scope, a bird's eye view scope of this, wildly important era of world history. And then, more simplistically, it would raise the stakes for the characters.
And let's just, for people who don't know, the original concept is it's a chess masters who one is Russian, right? Like
it's a fictional version of the Bobby Fischer-Boris Spassky chess rivalry,
right?
Which is the coolest idea ever for a musical. The music was my guide to the show, was the North Star of the show. It's an incredible catalog of music. It's been reordered, done in so many different versions over the years.
And this is brand new. I just want to be clear about that, because usually when they say, oh, it has a new book, it's really just a reworking of the old book. That's not the case here.
I've never read a book. So I never read the Richard Nelson book to the original Broadway production. I haven't seen the original London production. The only production I saw was the Royal Albert Hall production. And so I basically took these songs and used them as my guide to how to make the story work.
One night in Bangkok and the world's your oyster. The bars are temples, but the pearls ain't free.
So Michael, when people talk about chess, they talk about the score and how much they love it, and these songs are known outside the theater world.
For sure.
They're
iconic.
And when we talk about the famous songs, what we're talking about is One Night in Bangkok, I Know Him So Well. These are songs that were on the radio.
Anthem.
Yeah.
Oh, Nobody's Side, Someone Else's Story. I mean, it's crazy how many great songs there are. The Arbiter was a dance hit in London based on that original concept album.
And you have Aaron Tveit and Nicholas Christopher and Leah Michele. What did these stars bring to the roles that surprised you, or maybe illuminated something about the characters for you guys?
Well, first of all, they have to sing the shit out of it. This is not an easy score, and we got to
if anyone can do it.
Right? I mean, we really needed great singers and also great actors. And it's very hard to find people who can handle the demands of the score. The range is unbelievable. And the sing for each one of those three is a real challenge, because it has to use every part of their voice. So they can't live in one place all night. They've got to really jump around a lot. Obviously, I've been a Leah Michele fan since she was 14 and first walked into that workshop audition for Spring Awakening. And I know what she's capable of, and I think she's going to crush this. And Aaron, I've never worked with before, but I've been such a fan of his. And I don't know anyone who can sing Freddie as well as he can. And it's also fun for me because we're getting to push him a little bit out of his comfort zone. And it's really exciting to watch him. And he's got an appetite for it too. So that's thrilling. And then Nick, I've known since we did Whirl Inside a Loop together at Second Stage.
I saw that.
And I loved him, and I thought he was great. I didn't know what a phenomenal singer he was until I saw him do other stuff. In particular, when I saw him do Sweeney Todd, and I heard him sing Pirelli, and then to know that he was also singing Sweeney when Josh was out, he was the cover, I thought, what can't he do? And I thought he'd be a beautiful Anatoly, and he's delivering in a big way.
So what do you hope this new chess for a new generation adds to the legacy of chess on Broadway?
My hope was less to do about chess on Broadway, and it was more of, you know, Jesus Christ Superstar and Evita have been done for the last 45 years all over the world nonstop. And this is the next historical rock musical that Tim Rice did right after he did those pieces, right? This is the third one, and it's never done. And it feels to me that there's no reason in a world in which this show works and fires on all cylinders, right? It can't be done all over the world for the next 40 years as well. Like, it deserves to have a life for decades that it hasn't had before, in my opinion.